107.5 WBLS, your number one source for R&B.
It's a pleasure to welcome back Miss Corinne Bailey Ray.
How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
No, it's my honor. It's my honor. How's life?
Really good, really busy. I'm doing so much traveling at the moment. I have a new album out, and we're just touring all over the world. Actually, I'm really enjoying it.
The Heart Speaks in Whispers, the new album.
That's right.
Romantic, aren't you?
I am romantic, actually. Yeah, I think I believe in the sort of, the story of love and how two people can meet and have never known of each other before and be strangers one minute, and the next minute they're the most important people to each other. I find it just a magical thing.
It must be really magical in England. I don't know how magical it is sometimes in the States, but it must be really magical in England. I think maybe Europeans may look at love and challenge love and embrace love a lot different from Americans. What do you say?
I wonder how different it really is. I mean, I think so much of love is universal, just trying to find someone who you feel understood by and someone who you can be yourself with. And I think if you find that, there's so much, we just have a need to love each other and know each other.
In England, do they still court in England?
Yeah, definitely. I heard here people go on dates, but in England you would only go on a date with someone you were sort of, getting to know, and you wouldn't sort of go on a date with someone on a Tuesday and the next day go on a date with someone else on a Wednesday, and then I heard that New York's like that.
Her name is Corinne Bailey Ray. I'm learning some things tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So in England, to educate me a little bit, you meet somebody.
You meet someone.
And you just talk on the phone?
You meet someone, you might meet them in a bar or a club or, wherever. Okay. And then you would ask them out and you say, do you want to come out with me? And that is a really big thing. And so if you're saying yes, that means that you're really interested.
But you just met them.
Yeah, you just met them. But it's not like here where you might have two dates in the same evening, I've heard. Some of these New Yorkers, they'll say, I'll meet you for drinks at 5 and then they're having dinner with someone else at 8 o'clock. Yeah,
Corinne,
as far as I know, people don't do that in England.
I don't do that. Well, so not all New Yorkers, do that. I just want to clear the record, I want to go back with Corinne Bailey Ray just to kind of reacquaint you with her sound, and then we're going to bring everything warp speed up to 2016. So tell me about Closer, because it sounds like you were tapping into sensuality softly back then.
Yeah,
and
that's
that was
right.
That was that 2010?
Yeah, that was in 2010. So that was for an album called The Sea. And I felt with Closer that it was all about, wanting to be closer with someone, physically, but also wanting for them to let you in, And I think sometimes in a relationship, someone can hold you out and hold you away from them for a reason that you can't really explain. So the song really is about, pulling someone near, but also sort of being honest with them as well. So it's got lines in like, don't make me responsible for something you can't find.
Wow.
So I wanted to just be like, it's got this mellow side to it, but it's also like, look, your problems are your problems. Are you going to solve these problems or are you not? Because I want to get close to you. That's what the song's about.
Say no more, sisters. Say no more. Let's talk about that Aphrodisiac.
I really wanted to write a song that captured that feeling of those late sort of spring afternoons and evenings when you can go outside, you don't need a jacket, the air's moist, you can feel it on your skin, the blossoms falling, everything's just magical. And I love spring because there's a sense of newness and new life. Every time you look in the garden there's new shoots coming up. Yeah. You feel like you can sort of feel everything around you grow, and it's so full of life. And I think, we are part of nature, and I think that we respond, especially at that time of year, and especially just being in an amazing environment like that. And it just makes you feel more alive and more sensual and more like you want to just get into it, into your life,
I couldn't agree with you more. There's something about the season, especially the spring. You mentioned spring, I think summer, but spring too.
Going into summer, yeah.
There's something about that, and it affects our mood, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think it just makes you feel more like you want to engage with more people. You just see people around. You can chat. Happier. You can be more friendly. You're not just like shivering against the cold. You're just like, this seems like there's more opportunities for things to happen. And
does it get cold? It gets cold in England.
Yeah, it gets cold in England, and also spring and summer aren't especially warm. I mean, sometimes we have heat waves when there's a heat wave in England, it's like a completely different country. You know, people are really friendly to each other, and
Really?
cafes put tables outside, and it becomes much more a sort of, you know, Southern European feeling place. But, you know, a lot of the time in winter in England, you're just cooped up against the cold and everyone's in the houses. So it's nice to be out. And I wrote this song when I was in California, and it was just so
Green Aphrodisiac?
refreshing to me. Yeah.
That's when you fell in love, though.
Yeah. Just
Love
being
has
around
an
that.
interesting way of bringing out certain things, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
This brand new CD that Corinne Bailey Ray out is called "The Heart Speaks in Whispers," and having said that, it speaks in whispers, especially when you have found the ideal mate to kind of just grow with and discover new things in life. Want to get into another track off of this brand new CD album, which, ladies and gentlemen, is available once again. So let's talk about "Do You Ever Think About Me?" Do you ever think of me?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Do You Ever Think of Me is a song that it comes from the idea of being alone. Say you're in a room and it's on a Sunday afternoon and you hear a song on the radio, and all you can do is just think about someone, you know, think about where they are, what are they doing, and you think, are they thinking the same thing about me? You know, are they missing me wherever they are in the world? So the song is just longing for someone, really, and you know, you've got someone in mind and you're wondering, are you in their mind as much as they're in your mind?
Yeah, you know, I wonder that a lot. Sometimes I'm mainly off course in wondering that. But
Yeah.
let's enjoy the song, the brand new music from Miss Corinne Bailey Ray from "The Heart Speaks in Whispers" on the Quiet Storm.